Happy New Year. You guys are probably listening to this at the very beginning of the year. And right now, a lot of people are sitting with a very specific feeling that they quite don't know how to name. And I struggle with this quite often. And that feeling is that you're grateful. You look at your life and point to all of the real blessings that are in your life. You look to the people you love. Maybe it's a career that you're pursuing, a level of stability that you once prayed and hoped for. And still, there's something in you that wants more. You may want more clarity, more freedom. How about more alignment or maybe even more impact? And almost as immediate as you thought of those things, something else shows up. You start to feel guilty. That voice inside you says, you should just be thankful. Why are you asking for more? So what do? You try to quiet that desire. You remind yourself of how good you've had it. You tell yourself that wanting more is just being selfish. But here's the truth. We're starting with and struggling with, truthfully, today. See, you can be deeply grateful for your life and still want more from it. See, these two things, what feels to be impulses or gravity that's pulling you, they can be true, both at the same time. Welcome back, guys, to the Emmanuel Dr. EG3 podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Emmanuel George, but most people around here, they just call me Dr. EG3. This is a place where we talk about life, growth, and becoming, and it's that real kind of growth, the kind that requires you to be honest, have some reflection with your life, and learn about how to hold responsibility without losing yourself in the process. And I guess we try to have a little bit of fun too. Now, as we enter this new year, this feels like the right conversation that we should be having. See, January brings reflection, resolution, expectations all into the same room. See, this is where you look back at everything that maybe you survived. You look back at the things that you've built. How about this? You look back at the things that you're proud of. And at the same time, you might be feeling pulled towards what comes next. Now, I can tell you that pull isn't random. It's information and evidence of you leveling up. And that information that you're assessing and reflecting and feeling, when we don't know how to interpret it, we either rush into action or we talk ourselves out of it entirely. Now, when I think about myself, I can tell you guys, I love my life. I love my wife. I love my girls. I love my students and clients that I work with. I'm grateful for the career, for the trust that I've been given by so many people, for the work that I get to do and the stuff that I get to accomplish. I can tell you, there was a time when I hoped and prayed for this exact life that I have right now. But I still, to this day, right now, as I'm talking to you, I still feel a pull. I feel a pull towards more alignment, more freedom, more creativity, more impact beyond the spaces that I've been invited to and blessed in. I look for more time to build what feels honest to the man that I'm becoming, of me wanting to serve the world. And if I could be honest with you straight up, for a long time, that pull really made me feel uncomfortable. I used to catch myself thinking, how dare you? How can I want more when I already have so much? This guilt that I wrestled with. The more that I sat with that, the more that I provided space for me to process those thoughts, the clearer things became. See, the desire wasn't coming from dissatisfaction. It wasn't coming from greed. It wasn't coming from selfishness. It was coming from the desire of wanting to grow. And what I realized, ignoring it didn't deepen my gratitude anymore. Me trying to deny it, me trying to pat it down, it just caused more frustration. It just muted a part of me that wanted to step out there and do something different. And what I've learned is that that pull, that desire, that eagerness to grow is what allowed me to not just accomplish more, but most importantly, it allowed me to expand more of who I am. And I got more clarity and more understanding because that pull was what was allowing me to evolve, to be in the spaces that I was once in and that I'm in currently. So I have a couple of things that I want to maybe share with you about this, maybe four, maybe five things that I want to share with you about this. And I know normally I give you a challenge of the week, but what I would like to do here is I would like to actually give you some steps along the way. So maybe some action items so that, maybe, just maybe, you can do that over this next week. So the first thing I want to talk about is number one, gratitude is about acknowledgement, not about the fact that you've arrived. See, gratitude, when you really start to think about it, you start to really imagine the things that matter, the things that count. You start to recognize that what you're experiencing or the things you're grateful for were not necessarily guaranteed. When you live in a space of gratefulness, what it allows you to do is to keep you present. It stabilizes your perspective. But gratitude doesn't mean that you've reached the end. A healthy question to ask yourself is, am I grateful for my life, or am I using gratitude as a way to avoid growth? So here's a practical action. What I would encourage you to do is once a week, name one big thing that you're grateful for and one area that wants to expand. I think write them side by side, and I think seeing it on a piece of paper starts to figuratively and almost literally allow them to coexist side by side. Number two, desire points to responsibility, not deficiency. When you want more clarity, more impact, or maybe more freedom, it often means you're seeing a higher level of responsibility that's available to you. See, when you have that desire, it asks, what am I ready to steward next? See, this isn't about chasing anything. It's about listening to what comes up. So here's one practical action you can have for that. Instead of asking, what do I want more of? Let's change the question to, what feels underused or underutilized in me right now? Because I know you have talents, gifts, and abilities that you're probably not even coming close to tapping into. See, that change of question brings honesty to you instead of pressure, because maybe we need to lead out and grow and expand from the gifts that we have or the talents that we have. Number three, guilt is a sign you're growing past your old identity. See, when we feel guilty, there's a level of shame that comes to that, or shame that we feel, I guess is what I should say. But the guilt you feel when you want more, it often shows up when your current self no longer fits the rules your past self had to live by. See, you're not wrong in that instance. What it is you're evolving. And when you live in gratitude, it honors who you were, and that desire you have honors who you're becoming. So here's something to consider. When you notice that guilt shows up, maybe pause and ask yourself, look, there's nothing wrong with feeling guilty. We just need to understand where it's coming from. So when you feel it and it shows up, maybe you should ask yourself, whose expectations am I still trying to satisfy? Because maybe you're living not only in a past version of yourself, but maybe there are expectations that others put on you that no longer fit the identity and the person you're becoming today. And that question not only gives you an answer, it actually creates space for you to grow into more. Number four, gratitude without movement slowly becomes stagnation. See, there's a difference between peace in settling. See, when you live and operate in peace, you feel more grounded, you feel more open. But when you settle, it feels quiet, but it's something that weighs on you. Like heaviness is there. It feels as though that you've made not only made the wrong decision, but it's something that you're constantly wrestling with. I mean, to not be too deep, you don't live in peace when you settle. So if you're constantly reminding yourself to be grateful while feeling restless underneath, that restlessness is an indication, or at the very least, is something that you should be it's worth listening to. So maybe something practical you could have just around this is maybe pick one small move this month, this week, today, tomorrow, that aligns with more of what you want. You don't have to overhaul everything. You don't have to make drastic changes. You don't have to make an announcement. Just one step that gets you closer to what you want to do. And number 5, wanting more becomes healthy when it's aligned with your values. That desire we talked about, desire can become dangerous when it's driven by comparison. See, it becomes powerful when it's driven by alignment. See, wanting more because it should fit who you are, not because it proves something to someone else. A practical application for this is just finish the sentence. I want more of blank so that I can live in closer alignment with blank. See, if you can figure those 2 blanks out, and I'll repeat it again. I want more blank so that I can live in closer alignment with blank. Those 2 answers are key, but if that second blank is clear, then your desires are clean and they're yours. So hopefully this helped a little bit as I kind of talk through this message for the new year. But I want you to have maybe one reflective moment or one journal prompt or something to consider in your quiet time. As you move forward this year, as we move forward this year, here are 2 questions that should help you with your reflection. The first one is, what am I deeply grateful for right now? And what am I ready to grow into next? And you don't have to rush to answer these. I encourage you to take some time. Find yourself a big comfy chair. I don't know where you're listening to this, but maybe the temperature's cold, where you can snuggle up by the fireplace with a big blanket and get you a cup of tea and a candle maybe, or maybe that's not your thing, but maybe at a coffee shop or something. And you give yourself time and space to be able to answer those. See, this year doesn't require you to choose between appreciation and ambition. You can honor the life that you've built and still shape for what comes next. I would argue what comes next is the result of everything that you've built. See, you can stand in gratitude and walk forward at the same time. It's not greedy. It's not selfish. I think you should let gratitude ground you, but that desire, that pull, that tug for more is to what keeps you honest, challenges you, helps you think about why you want to pursue these things. And I would like you to trust that wanting more doesn't make you ungrateful for everything that you have and accomplished and who you've become. It means you're listening. And as always, just know, I love you much.